online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
I wanna be forever young. Thank God I am.
Wait.
Wanna live forever.
Hey, AfterBuzz fans. Welcome to another after show for ABC's Blackish. We're here for season 1, episode 18, 30-something. I'm your host, Courtney Tezeno, and you guys can keep in touch with me at Teznos on Twitter and Instagram. As always, if you haven't already watched our show on YouTube, head over to YouTube and give us 5 stars, subscribe to us, and you can listen to our podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud. And I'm going to let my beautiful co-host introduce herself.
Hey everyone, it's your host Stacy. Thanks so much for tuning in. You guys can tweet me live during the show at OneTakeStace.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and dive in this episode.
Yep.
30-something. So we see in the very beginning scenes that Dre is, I feel like he's having a midlife crisis.
Definitely. Worried about the swag.
Worried about his swag. He's about to turn 40, and we see him walking around to Forever Young. That's why we played that song, you guys. And he's comparing himself to all these other old men, saying like, I'm not old. Like, I still got swag. Like, these people wearing their capris, and they ain't got anything on me. So we quickly see that swag is, I don't even know what to say. Discombobulated, ankle twisted. He just can't hang with the young folks anymore.
Right.
And I think during the whole episode, we see that he really hasn't come to terms with that. He's still trying to reclaim his swag, and I think he just needs to go ahead and accept the fact that he's getting a little older.
I didn't even know there was that many ways to say swag. I thought swag and swagger, after Justin Bieber said it, we were done. Swaggy, yes, swaggy. I was like, what?
Swaggified.
Once he said that, I was done. So yeah, that was pretty funny for me.
One thing that I like though, in the beginning, even though he has all this confidence, is that he says age is nothing but a mentality. And it's fine. Like, he may have aged physically and he may not have the same swag he had before, but he can have like a 40-something swag. Like, you just got to switch it up. I think you have to reinvent yourself. So I would have loved to see him take that route, but we see he didn't take that route.
He went the other route.
He went the other route, and he's trying to be young. So like we said, he twists his ankle, and he once he gets home, Grandma Ruby is a mess. She's talking about, come on, honey, get on my back. I'll put you on the couch.
Talking about milk choices. I was like, oh, God.
Talking about, I don't know what both. Giving you skim milk. I'm about to get you this half and half. I don't know what half and half does compared to skim milk, but apparently it helps. Mama knows best. So what did you think about the scenes where he's just not getting it? Like, he's trying too hard.
I think it was funny because you've seen this on TV before, and you've also seen it in real life. You know, I don't necessarily think my parents went through it that way, but I'm sure they had some kind of, oh my gosh, we're a little bit older, blah, blah, blah. You see it in your older friends, you see it in your mentors, you see it in your older siblings, you know, cousins. So it is funny to see the different ways people go through this, oh my gosh, I'm hitting this next level of my life. So it can be really exciting, but I think it could be very scary too.
I think it can be scary, but I think for men and women it's very different because we see with Dre, like he said, he was telling Bo, like, you're still beautiful, you got that nice butt, like you still have your degree, that's like, you're this wonderful woman. But for a man, swag is everything. You go from being cool to just the black guy, is what he said. So I think men deal with it differently. They don't have breakdowns like we do before, but I think once they realize it's happening, they do start having their own mini breakdown.
Definitely. Leather pants come out, you know, things that are just inappropriate.
Stuff that you just shouldn't be wearing anymore. You got to let it go. Yeah. I mean, we let it go a long time ago. But one thing that I thought was great was to see how his kids were reacting to him getting old. Because we were at that age when our parents turned 40, we were young. So we had a very different perspective of what 40 was, and to us it was old.
Exactly. It's so funny.
Not anymore.
That's the crazy thing. I was just telling a friend, there was a guy that was interested in her, and he was 33, and I said, that's not old. She's 25. She's like, that's so old. I'm like, do you know how close you are to 33? You know. So it's just funny because I definitely remember teasing my dad a little bit, because you could tease your dad, don't tease your mom. I could tease my dad about turning 40, and I was such a kid then. So now I'm like, I'm gonna be 40, you know, not that soon, but soon enough where I don't see it as that much of a distance.
It's not
anymore.
that far out.
Yeah.
So I mean, Dre turning 40, I feel like 40 is when you're really established. And the way that I'm thinking of it at the age I am now, and I think a lot of people in their 20 somethings, is like 40 you've pretty much become. You're settled in your career, you have your family. That's what we hope for.
Exactly.
But now we see on the other end, 40 is like the most dreadful thing at that age. Like you have it all, but all that you want at that age is that swag you had when you were 20 and broke.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I'll definitely switch the 20 and broke for fabulous and 40, please.
Are you really?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
What did you think about the kids going in on him and his looks?
It was hilarious. I think Yara, her character, I can't remember her name right now. Zoe. She's so funny the way she leads the pack. And Junior, he just follows the lead, and it's so funny. He literally, from the opening up his heart to the fact that he, oh my God, you're 40. We feel so bad for you. We didn't know you. That kind of thing.
You look older.
Yeah, their reactions are just so typical. We're your kids, and we're totally picking on you. We're enjoying the fact that our dad's getting old. They know how to pick on him well, and the way Dre reacted, falling asleep. Exactly how
what dads do.
That's exactly what my dad would be like. I'm done with these. You know what I mean? Just totally. And their dynamic in that scene was so hilarious.
I think Kenya Barris did a great job depicting what it is like to get to that age and how men do it. Because honestly, we see so many TV shows depict how a woman deals with that crisis all the time. So to see a guy go through it, it's just like, wait, his teeth are falling out and he got to like switch up the basketball team. I thought that was too much.
Different things. That's the thing. Different strokes for different folks. So it is funny to see what a guy goes through, because you're right, we always see the woman's version and the menopause talk and the gray hair and we did see Rainbow go through that a little bit a couple episodes ago, so it is cool to see Dre have a little bit of a meltdown. Yeah,
I thought it was cool, but I would have liked to see the hairline issue, because I feel for men that is a big thing. When you start losing your hair, it's like, all right, it's getting real.
That's true.
To see the teeth go first, I was like, a banana took your teeth out.
And that's the funniest thing about that scene. A banana is the softest fruit. I was like, hold up, this doesn't make a peach would have taken it out faster. So I was very confused, but very funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did a good job poking fun at it and being like really lighthearted, but I think it's a serious thing. Like, again, I think they depicted it well. It was funny and whatnot. So I want to talk about how it's different for men and women aging, because like we know the saying goes, black don't crack. They said that, why hasn't she gone through this aging process and you have, or like, why do you look so terrible and mom looks good? So what do you think about like the aging process for us?
Well, since if we take us, which we've barely aged in comparison to some people, but from our 12 to 25 or our 20 or 24, our 20 to 24 or whatever the case is, it's just very different, the things that are important to us. I feel like as a woman, of course you have the kids, you have marriage or whatever, fits your vibe. But there's also the career jump that's just so different from guy. And I wanted to hear Dre talk a little bit more about his career, and then he did rely more on the swag, which I was a little surprised about. But yeah, there's a lot more career stuff that I hear when it comes to a woman. I sat next to a 55-year-old woman at the nail shop a couple days ago who was just so fabulous. My goodness. And when I told her, she was like, how old are you? You're a baby, right? How old are you? I go, 24. Gosh. And she's like, oh my God. And when you hear that, you're like, I don't feel like a baby at all.
Baby.
I feel like my whole life is already over. Like I really, you have those meltdowns because every age you are, you feel like you're the oldest you'll be, and then you turn another age, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm older, that kind of thing. So she was really putting things into perspective about having fun and enjoying yourself as you're young, and really just embracing where you are at that time, because every age there's more that comes to it.
There's so, like little nuggets to each, like 20 something, 30 something.
And so when you try to put it all on one age, which I feel like a lot of young people do, especially with social media and Instagram, you're constantly like, oh my God, I need to be 55 at 24.
Planning too far ahead.
Yeah, planning too far ahead. So I really learned that from her, and seeing this in this episode, it was interesting because Dre's 40. He's very accomplished, 4 kids, beautiful job, great wife, wonderful house, like whatever. So that is the dream, but I feel like it was just a great way to see perspective in terms of like stages.
Yeah, so you would think that the male stage is like, for women, we have like different things we want to accomplish, and I know that men have that same thing they want to accomplish, but I feel like they dread getting older. Once they meet those career things, it's just like, I can never get my youth back.
You think for guy or girl?
For guys, I feel like the thing that they long for the most, I mean, guys don't want to get married. Like, they like hate commitment, or most guys, let me say most guys, hate commitment, hate getting older. And so I feel like the older they get, they can have everything career-wise, but then once that swag is gone, or once that, youth that they had is gone, what do guys look forward to?
Golfing? I don't know. Because I honestly think, I am more in admiration of guys who are distinguished. You know, they put the distinguished guy on TV. Dre has a little bit more of a different swag to him. But if you watch Denzel right now, you're not like, man, I wonder how cool he was when he's young. He's so much cooler
so cool now.
Yeah. If Jamie Foxx, so much cooler now. Like, these people, I feel like they're just so much more distinguished. Some of the other characters we see, even Fitz, for example, on Scandal. I seriously love how the age range they have, all the characters. It's not like these are young people just running around. No, these are people in their careers, in their prime. And I think the older I get, the more I realize the prime is actually the 40s.
Yeah.
Prime is, it really is when it's hot.
Yeah,
it's
and
when
you don't realize it.
You don't realize it. And I think that's so funny. So seeing Dre kind of have his moment, he's a different father on TV. So it's interesting. He's a younger, cool dad. But overall, I think, look, when you're an older guy, what do you look forward to? I don't know. I
mean, you tell us what guys look forward to, because obviously we're coming from a female perspective. Sad we didn't have Kevin this episode.
Yes, I know.
But one thing that I really love about this episode is, we're just going to jump ahead into the birthday gifts. It's so interesting how kids, like, we put all this effort into like small gifts, and parents appreciate them, but they're just some of the dumbest gifts. Like, they are like so silly. I know it's the thought that counts, but this episode, Bo and Grandma Ruby are like duking it out,
neck and neck
to make sure that they are like, go back into this time capsule of what Dre likes. Like, they're not even thinking about what he would need right now.
Exactly.
So they're trying to make it special for him. The kids are trying to make it special for him. And I thought this episode, it was so funny when the kids they were doing like a singing rendition. I think it was a throwback to the Cosbys. Was that what we were saying?
I think it's Olivia when she did it.
Olivia. Okay, so Olivia did it back in the day. So I thought that was cool that the writers put that in, because it's like, oh my God, like, okay, so let's play it out. What else can we do? And later we see what they do, which is a great it's like a video collage of their dad's life, which really we did when my dad was 40. So I'm like, it is kind of played out, but it never gets old.
It never gets old. No, that's like something, your memories. That's very personal. And honestly, that was my favorite scene in the whole show, because these people aren't a real family. And so to see the way they put the pictures together and how they illustrate, I mean, it was so beautiful. I totally believe them. The tears, everything about that moment, I was like, this is a really dope. I buy into this entire family. So that was really cool.
I think that's when Dre had the realization that, it's not about the swag. Like, I've come to another milestone in my life where family's all that matters.
Great.
So that was beautiful.
That means the leather jacket was off, because that was horrific.
He needed to change up the swag. Like, I want to see him distinguished, suit, tie, like, just switch it up.
I don't think that's his character.
It's not his character, but I'm saying if he was going to take a different approach in this 40s, I want to see him switch it up a bit.
That would be very interesting. Kicks off,
right. So another thing that was really funny was when they were going back to the aging process, talking about mom being a child bride. I was just like, wow, kids really think that? Like,
no, those kids think that.
Those kids think that. But when you think back, a lot of parents are getting married at a young age, or like having their kids at a young age. Like that, when the lady said that you were a baby, babies are having babies.
That's true.
So interesting. That's true. So what do you think makes Bo ready to have a family, or what's like the difference between the man at that age and the woman at that age when they're getting married?
I don't necessarily know for Bo and Dre, but I think in my group of friends and circle of friends, I think it's the family influence, and it's also society influence too. It's those kind of norms that people tell you're supposed to follow. So you hear, hey, how old are you? What happened in college? You didn't graduate with the mister? That kind of thing. So you hear those type of norms and you're like, okay, I need it. Now, I don't know, now that we've met Rainbow's parents, I don't think that her parents really did that, but she was also still part of a very, prestigious society, blah, blah, blah. She was chasing her master's, that kind of thing, or her medical degree. So, but the way they showed Rainbow is that she was a career woman and, she balanced both. She freaking got married the same day she had to go do rounds or something. So it's a little different for them, but I think think you know how it is as a woman. When you get out of college, especially, you start hearing hey, do we have anyone in your life, or what's going on? And I'm like, look, you sent me to college for 1 degree. If I was gonna get 2, that's why I used to tell my parents. So you should have paid more. Anyway, so I don't know. That's just my personal experience.
Back to the gifts with Grandma Ruby and Bo. Grandma Ruby said that she knows her son best, and I think women, the wife and the mother, feel like they know their whoever best, like the husband or the son best. Now, Grandma Ruby breastfeeding till 7. Honey, no.
Wrote that down.
Yeah, that was absolutely not necessary.
They should have just said 5. No, it would have been fun if you said like 3. 7. Do you know how old that is?
No, you got to get on some real protein. It ain't no reason why you should still be.
That is nonsense. No, that's not even possible. So I don't even know.
It can't be possible. But the writers did a good job of throwing us off with that one.
Definitely.
But what do you think? Do moms know best or do wives know best? It's
you know what? Different. I wrote that down as a very scary thing. I said battle of family members, because they both are your family, and as the Bible says, you leave your mother and you cling to your wife.
Oh, God.
But Dre must have missed that verse. I don't know. I think it is very scary though, because you have to please your wife and you have to make sure that she's good, but you don't leave mama's house, because that's mom. So does mom know best?
Who knows who best? It's a who knows.
Mom
knows you best. I would agree.
Yeah,
I would have to agree.
Mom knows you best. Yeah.
She does. I mean, she knows you from childhood and the different stages that you've gone through. I think that with your wife, you open up to her and let her know the things that your mom knows, and then your wife starts knowing things that your mom cannot know.
That's what I was gonna say. What about know you differently versus know you best? Because your mom knows you, but once you went to college, I mean, you grew, you learned stuff, you come back a certain person. I mean, they don't necessarily say like change back to. No, you're growing, you're learning, and then the person that your spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend ends up being, there's such a different relationship there. So I feel like know differently versus know best could maybe answer this question. I don't know.
Well, let us know what you think. Who do you think knows Dre best? Is it Bo? Is it Grandma Ruby? I think that's a tough one. I don't think it's the kids. The kids are learning, and they're learning things from Dre. But I think, let us know what you think. We don't want to keep putting that out there. One other thing is, can you tell how old a black person is? That was a huge thing this episode, when he's in the office and he's talking to his coworkers, his white coworkers, and they're saying that the black 40 is the white 75. How is that? It is a thing, but like the fact that that's known,
that's a ridiculous scale. Also, it's a writer thing. I think it's known, I guess it might be known more in his world, you know? And so the way he wrote it was very by the way, we all kind of know this. I know we all talk about it, but let's talk about it. That kind of thing. Because I originally wrote down Black 40 is the white 25.
That was another one.
Okay, what was that point specifically about? Do you remember?
You said white 40 is
I'm sorry, Black 40 is the white 25.
I think it was saying the same thing.
Okay, same type.
The same type of thing. Dynamic. Basically where the black don't crack. As far as looks, apparently what they're saying is that some black people look a little younger than they actually are, so it's hard to tell what age a black person is.
That's very true.
Now, why did they put the scene in where he had to smell Dre, and that's how he knew how old he was?
A week for high 40. I said, you're disgusting, Charlie. You're honestly, Charlie's character every episode gives me exactly what I need. You know what I mean? You give me my comedic relief at the exact time I need it, and then a little bit extra of crazy. It's perfect. I think
his role is perfect.
I think he's so funny and he's so perfect at playing it. It's kind of nuts.
He is.
Yeah.
And it's going back to the notion of that. I don't even think it's just that white people think that. I think all people, I mean, we can't even tell sometimes how old someone is because they literally look that good. Oh my
gosh. This is a quick shout out to Ashita Henre. Oh my gosh, yes. We both can say Ashita Henre is the most fabulous woman I have ever
I did not know how old she was when I met her. She looks
whatever
fabulous.
Products you use, we will shout them out to the mountaintops. Anyway, that is just a quick shout out to her. She's so fabulous. We'll talk about her next week. Anyway.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So another thing that I thought was interesting is that Kenya Barris focused on how black men avoid the doctor when he was talking about. I think it was in the scene where they were at the basketball court and his back is going out, his teeth are going out, but we still don't actually see him go to the doctor.
Exactly.
Why is it that men avoid going to the doctor? Is it fear of the unknown? What is it?
I've seen that narrative before, but I don't really get it because I'm like, I mean, I get it because I've seen it where it's like black people don't go to the doctor. So now seeing it as men specifically, I think they just, you know how black men can be sometimes, at least a stereotype of them being, like, don't tell me what to do and
rugged. I can do it on my own.
Yeah, I can do it on my own. I'm hard. I don't really need you to help me. And I mean, that'd be so stupid. My dad did that because my mom was like, your doctor's appointment. So, moms are the reason they all going. Let's be real.
It is. The same with my dad and my mom. But my dad still won't go. He's still,
really?
Yeah. I mean, he'll go once it's at that point where you should have went like years ago.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting that they did that, and they were talking about the colonoscopy. So I'm not really familiar with that because I've never, experienced it. But does that have to do? Do you know anything about it?
No idea.
Okay, well, we're gonna leave that one alone.
Won't even lie.
So you guys won't go in the comments.
We're being honest.
We're gonna be honest. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that he just felt like it wasn't necessary for him to go anywhere. Now, we actually didn't see him go to the doctor this episode, but by the time it was his birthday party, weren't his teeth back?
They were definitely back. Okay. And it was like the same day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or like the next day?
I think you have to go during a certain period of time to get your original tooth back in. Like, it's a small window of time before you have to get the fake tooth.
One. It's so funny, the fake like tooth thing. I didn't even know that was a real thing until I saw this man with perfect teeth, and he was like in his 50s, and I was like, how? And then he was like, yeah, no, these aren't mine. But it didn't even matter because they were so fabulous. When it gets to my time, put them in me. That's fine. We can do it. If I have
take care of your teeth.
Oh, okay, that too. First.
I'm from personal experience, not for me, but people in my family. Take care of your teeth. Like, save your original ones. You don't need to have to go get the veneer. Yeah, you don't need to get the veneers or anything.
That's
so
funny.
I thought it was cool they touched on that too, because I think 40s is that point when you really start breaking down, like the back, the teeth.
And it's so funny the way Rainbow that's what makes this couple so unique, especially as a TV couple, because her reaction to his swagger comments are very different from some typical moms or whatever, or typical wives, because when he broke his tooth and doctor immediately, but she went the funnier route, like, hey, so remember when I already told you, or the sarcastic route, or making fun. She's made fun of him a lot and poked fun because she knew
that's
like
a relationship.
Yeah, like, look, you're tripping, swaggified or not, it's gonna be a great birthday, let's figure this out for real, this is your fault. She did give him a little lesson 101, but she still poked a lot of fun. I thought that was so fun in their relationship.
I think they always have fun with each other. Like, we watching them do their thing on set, it's just like, oh my gosh, you guys are just having like way too much fun. As I'm watching it, I can just tell that they're enjoying each other so much.
Tell us about that.
No, I'm talking about watching it, Stacy.
Whatever.
But anyways, you guys need to stay tuned because on April 8th, 2 weeks from now, we're going to have the kids in, Miles and Kayla. Yay! So stick tuned and we'll get some behind the scenes stuff with them. They have some good details for us. So watch.
Love it.
Okay, let's go ahead and head over to throwing his own party. Worst idea? Good idea?
Not that bad. Kind of liked it a lot. Okay. Yeah, because it started as a really stupid idea in terms of the way he was writing. I love the assistant, by the way. Whoever that guy is hilarious.
Are we going to see him more?
I
hope
need
so.
to see it. He is so funny. I love his character.
He adds a nice dynamic to like the younger black guy, and then Dre. Because Junior and Dre is too much of a gap.
Yeah, agreed.
So I really hope
he was really
him.
funny. I want to see him more and kind of see what else he's going to bring to the table because he really had me cracking up.
And we're talking about Curtis, you guys.
Curtis, Dre's assistant. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think that when the idea started, obviously you heard what he was saying, like the little things he wants to do, like that didn't make any sense. But once he got the assistant involved, saw the bad idea, and then recharged to the, look, I'm just going to pull my plugs, including Jermaine Dupri.
Oh my gosh.
Which, please, can we discuss, what was that? Like,
is that how? I guess I must have missed it. But is that how Jermaine? Is that how we perceive Jermaine Dupri? Like he's only pubbing like the old things he used to do.
I think they were definitely poking. Obviously, he was poking fun at himself, so it was very funny in terms of that. But I was like, do people think that about him? Is this something we got from somewhere else? We must have. I mean, Kenya.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, they definitely had some funny talk. We're like, look, this is really, because it was funny. It definitely was funny, especially coming from him. That was hilarious. But I was like, wait, what?
And I really love that they're bringing in so many special guests.
Absolutely.
Because they already revealed to us that they're bringing in a special guest for the finale, and it's Diddy and Mary J. Blige.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see if we have any other guests that they're going to go ahead and show us. Yes, that's
Love
nice.
it.
Now, can we talk about this throwing the party and this term? Acronyms have just been coming all out of the place. So Curtis is talking about, in order to throw like a swagged out party, you got to have SMADs.
Yes.
And that was, I wrote down singer, model, actors, dancers. That's a real thing, you guys. That's a real thing.
If you live in LA, that is definitely a thing.
I think if you live anywhere,
I guess I've never
girls,
experienced it before this, so
it's really sad. But
Yeah.
having hot girls is the equivalent of a good party.
crazy.
I mean, I guess so.
And, like, I understand in terms of the perspective of the show, but it was just so funny to bring up something that, like, those SMADs, as they refer to them, they don't think, you know what I mean? They struggling. Like, they trying to figure out what the heck they really are, because not everyone's trying to run around and be a SMAD. Anyway, if you are, that's dope.
No, and I don't think we should even, it was funny, but we shouldn't even have a
promote
term
that.
for that.
It was weird. I was like, I've
gosh.
never heard, I can't believe there's a thing. Like, I used to say that to my dad to be funny. I'm like, Dad, we're all out here, chasing this. And I say singer, model, actress, dancer, but I don't think it's a real, I'm like, oh no, we're really trying to figure out which one we are, though. Some are all, like Brandy. But anyway, Brandy's she's my favorite.
Over here triple threatening it.
Yes,
I love it.
That's my girl. But anyway.
So then we also see that Curtis introduces Dre to this new venue on Skid Row. Now, if you are from LA, you've probably volunteered on Skid Row. I don't want to go too deep into it, but there are a lot of homeless people on Skid Row, and for them to say like this is the poppin' spot, it's like, what?
I was kind of confused.
Kenya, you're hilarious. So for everyone that's not from LA, like that was not the poppin' area to have a party.
Just in case you missed it by the missing venue.
Yes, just in case you missed it. But it's so interesting, the dynamic from age, because Curtis is just like, dude, it was one thing I wrote down, and he was like, it was so cool that it's gone. Like, these 20-somethings are us.
Yeah,
like, that is
exactly.
that doesn't make any sense.
I need to have fun with like them, because they are obviously, Curtis is obviously like life of the party everywhere he goes.
Right, no jammy jam there.
Right.
But okay, so what type of party do you think a 40-year-old man who's married with kids should have? What's appropriate and swagified?
You know what? I was thinking the same thing, because I think the 40s now is so different. Like, okay, take for instance Tracee Ellis Ross this whole award season. Every dress, fire, skin tight, sexy. You know what I mean? Like, it's sexy to, and for guys now, they do the long t-shirt with the ripped jeans and like the tucks. It's very different when they're dressing now. So that goes into everything else they do. What kind of car they drive, what kind of party they throw, where do they hang out, what Starbucks drink do they get? It's all in perspective now, because of the times are changing so much.
They are.
That it is a little nerve-wracking, because I feel like by the time we're 40, I don't know I don't want to be a part of that. I just don't know if I want to be around for that party. Like, I feel like it could be.
I think that all of the age brackets have changed so drastically with the ways things are going, because there were those movies that were like, oh, Stella got her groove back. I feel like the 40-year-olds, they did never lose their groove.
Very true.
Like, they are very
true.
current. They're actually setting the pace for 20-somethings, and unfortunately, the 40-somethings, you look great. You look bomb. You look sexy. But then the 20-somethings are taking it to another level, and it's starting looking a little too risque. I mean, and then for the guys, it's like, what are you doing? So I think in this episode, it's actually kind of reversed in society now. I think 40-somethings are something that we look up to and are like, oh my God, I'm as dope as her when I get older. Like,
but that's because we're older now. I think when we were younger, we were probably looking up to the 20-somethings or whatever the case. I just think now that we're older, we feel like we can relate more. The gap isn't as bigger, and we see, okay, this is where I'm trying to get to, and this is how it looks. Oh, cool, okay. Because it cracks me up when I go through my Instagram timeline, and it's literally like the hottest 40-year-olds I follow.
You don't even realize
it's crazy. I didn't realize that, and so because I follow a lot of actors or whatever, and I feel like they're all in their 40s and they're all doing it big, sexy dresses, and the guys too. Just there's a different swag to it, so it's interesting.
Definitely. Yeah. Now, what did you think about? We already talked about Grandma Ruby and Bo duking it out, but I was a little underwhelmed at the end when neither one of them.
I was pissed. Yeah,
neither one of them really served anything.
Definitely.
Like the idea of a motorcycle lessons, I could see Dre like doing one and being done, because he's like more laid back, put my top down type of guy. Right. And then Bo, we don't know what she got him, because she's
four kids.
Yeah. That's a great gift, but
it was funny. But I was like, what did you really
ago.
Get him? Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So
and then the way that we close out the scene with Grandma Ruby Ruby and Bo talking, and then Bo saying, well, I'm gonna give him this when you leave, basically alluding to the fact that they about to get down after. I wanted to know what she really meant, because she's like, no, you took it wrong.
No, that's what she meant. I heard it, but I just thought she was saying like, my bad, I didn't actually mean to say that out loud.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I think she really meant that, though.
She did.
Yeah.
She definitely did. Right. But it was interesting to see them duke it out. But again, a little underwhelmed that they didn't actually show up and show out.
Sometimes when they do duke it out, though, I get a little scared because I'm like, I really don't want
the division.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that it's so divided to some point. I mean, it's funny for sure, and they were definitely in the beginning when they were like, it's not on and all that kind of jazz. That was funny. But when it really does come to terms of the whole episode, they really are against each other. I'm like, this is kind of sad. It's unfortunate. Definitely. So, you know, I kind of wish they'd go on a spa together one episode.
Yeah.
That's my prediction. BT dubs.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into that soon. But before we get into that, you mentioned when we were watching it, the lines that they're giving Junior. I thought it was so interesting. The lines that they give Junior are so much more soft compared to the lines that they give
Diane.
No, not Diane. Diane and Miles' character, Jack.
Yeah.
They give them such grown lines that I'm just like, wait,
you can pull me to the side and tell me that? I'm like, what?
Yeah,
that's what
like,
I said in high school.
Their mom like that.
Exactly.
And then Junior is just like so soft and like he just wants acceptance.
Yeah.
I get the middle child thing that they're trying to do, but it's so interesting.
The character dynamic is extremely interesting. Diane and Jack are very old spirited, old headed. Like they're just literally their entire, like it's weird. They're 30-year-olds and 8-year-old bodies.
Little bodies.
Yes. Yeah. So it is just like hearing them talk throughout this episode. I'm like confused because I'm like, what? That's something I would say, you know. And then Junior, he's like, that's what I get for opening up my heart. I'm like, what? You know, so it is very funny how they kind of play with that.
Okay, let's get into predictions real quick.
Cool.
So Junior.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV
predictions. So for Junior, I would like to see him, I think I've said this almost every week, I'd like to see him I don't want to use the term man up, but I want to see him be a little stronger. Like we saw him during the episodes when he was doing the dozens, like he really proved himself, but I don't want to see him do the same monotonous, like, oh, woe is me and I need acceptance from daddy. Like eventually I want him to switch his character up a bit. But my prediction next week is that, again, every week we don't know what we're going to see from them. So I'm hoping maybe we're going to talk about Easter or something like relevant right now. Maybe an Easter episode and see how they handle that. Bring Pops, please.
That was my prediction. I just really need to see Pops back. And I would love to see Grandma Ruby and Rainbow get together on something cool. So if it is going to be an Easter episode, are they going to come together and cook something awesome? Which I actually don't see that happening at all. But I would love it. You know, some kind of unison in the family.
Food brings anyone together.
Usually, but those two have the skim milk. I don't know. Anyway,
we saw them come together other episodes based on food.
Sure. Okay, you're right. So yeah, I would love to see them maybe do a spa day or something fun between.
I want to see them go to church because I think that would be an interesting episode.
That would be awesome.
What is their denomination like? I want to see how they act in church because it's a stereotype in the black community that some people be acting out at church. You know,
I feel like Dre will be sleeping.
Yeah, I'd like to see an Easter episode with them in church. Yeah. I don't think it'll be too controversial. Just I'd like to see that.
All right, awesome. I love it.
All right, well, let us know what you think and be sure to tell us what you think using the hashtag ABTVBlackish. We have 2 of our co-hosts missing, but they will be back next week along with our special guest. And where can everybody find you, lovely?
You guys can check me out on Twitter and Instagram at OneTakeStay. Special shout out to Flawed Clothing for letting me wear this dope hoodie today. I love it so much, and I can't wait to see you guys next week.
And you guys can keep in touch with me at Tezeno on Twitter and Instagram. Again, keep the conversation going with the hashtag ABTVBlackish, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you guys. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AFTERBUZZ TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AFTERBUZZTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AFTERBUZZ TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AFTERBUZZ TV or its owners or principals.